Hello everybody, I hope you're all well. Sorry I haven't done a video for a very long while. I've been very busy, which is a good thing because I like to be busy and keeping myself busy, as I always talk about, since I got back from having a little holiday. Thanks to everybody who sent a few little tips on how they like to relax and little things about trying to clear my mind. It really worked out. So it was funny because I was able to chill out for maybe 3 or 4 days properly, but then it started creeping back in, that kind of thought about, oh, I'm just gonna, whilst I'm sat here, I may as well be promoting this, or I may as well be doing that, or I may as well be doing that. But I did manage to relax, and of course I love being on aeroplanes because no one can contact me, no one can do anything. I sat there, I wrote some songs. So yeah, all was good. So thank you very much for everyone who sent messages. As you may have seen, my last post, I went down to the New Forest to see my friend Steve, who was the guy. He's the guy who sorted me out. So I just thought I wanted to reflect on how I came, not reflect, but to talk about how I came to know Steve. So there's another side of me that a lot of you don't know, only because I haven't said it, or not a side of me, but there was a part of my addictions which was to do with gambling. I'm going to tell you the very, very short version of this is that I got a loan from the bank, and I was always into horse racing and stuff. But then I also, I got into online slots. I didn't have a bank account for years, and it took ages for me to get one, just for one reason or another. And when I did, it kept saying, do you want a loan? And then I found I got a loan, and I got some money, and I started to do online slots. And the thing was with the online slots is that they get very addictive very quickly. I had little periods where I won a load of money. I won sort of £10,000 and then I lost it. And then one Christmas, it was Christmas 2015. So you got to think I'd stopped drinking 2014, but cocaine was very much, it's quite funny. I used to live in that house when I was a kid, grew up there. I'm in Burgess Hill at the moment. Yeah, weird, that's my old bedroom. How weird's that? Long time, hello. But yeah, so basically I got addicted to that, and whilst I was on tour and taking cocaine, staying up really late, gambling, they're all things that sort of go together very well. Smoking loads of cigarettes, staying up really late. Not really. The thing I'm saying is I haven't really dealt with the drinking side of it. The fact that I wasn't drinking was, that was a good thing, and that was the right thing. I shouldn't have been. I stopped drinking, and so I was doing that, but I hadn't really gone into a way of, even though I'd had counselling with Claire Robbins, that I hadn't continued that, and I hadn't really. So it manifested in other things like cocaine and gambling. Anyway, and then I was on tour, and I was gambling, taking cocaine, sitting in the back of the van, just doing that all day long. The long and short, there's a massive story that goes with it, which I'm just writing in the book that I'm writing at the moment. But basically, over the space of about a week, I won £137,000. To which loads of people say to me, oh, I would have stopped then. But to someone who's got an addictive nature or gambling issues, like those people who said, oh, I would have stopped then, they would never have got to that amount because they wouldn't have been gambling while I was gambling and da-da-da. So anyway, so the long and short of it is I won all that money, fantastic, brilliant, money out in my bank account. There we go. Life should be sorted. And, one Christmas I'm looking at, right, oh, I could buy a house. I could buy a house outright. I could buy a flat. I could do this. Anyway, so that happened. Then, of course, Mr. Addictions gets into the idea of... I'm going to let this car go. Then the addiction side goes, well, maybe I could win more. So then I started gambling more with that money. Gambling, and the thing is, your whole perception of what is you know, one night it'd be, I've won 37 grand. All right, I'll keep 30 grand and gamble with 7. I mean, it's ridiculous. But that's how addictions takes you. It's an illness that just fucks you up. And you can't see it. And it's the same with having a drink. You'll do anything to get a drink or stay up or anything, borrow any money or do anything. Anyway, so I won all that money. Of course, I tried to win more. What happened was I lost all of that money. I gambled all of that money away. And then I gambled. Then I used somebody else's money. I spent £60,000, well, £57,000. I gambled away, trying to win it back, living a whole lie of being totally stressed out. My partner at the time didn't know what was going on. And then I told her, then it all came out. And that whole story in itself is fantastic, but you have to wait for the book. But anyway, I've totally forgotten where I'm going with this. Oh yes, so when it all came out about this and the money I'd gambled away, then I was sort of like, oh shit, it all went, everything had basically, the fact that I wasn't drinking is like besides the point, do you know what I mean? It was like, so it all got pretty stressful, as you can imagine. So being someone who 7 months ago was 137 grand up, was now pretty much 60 grand down. Doesn't go very well with the brain. And I was hugely stressed. Anyway, the person who I owed the money to was is a very, very good friend and recognised the position I was in and that addictions is a real thing, and that I was fucked basically and really struggling, and gave me a chance. This is when a friend of mine stepped in and called Steve and told him the story, roughly the story, and Steve phoned me up and said, "Hi Adrian," and I said, "Who's this?" He said, "My name's Steve, I'm a friend of such and such. What's been going on?" And then I was like, oh, and then I told him the whole story. Then he said, "Well, can you come down and see me?" And I said, "Oh, no, I can't, I've got this to do." And Steve just said, "Well, I'll come up and see you then." And I said, "No, you can't do that." And he said, "Yeah, I can do whatever I want." And then I managed to change things around, so I went down to see him. And when I got down there, I just spoke to him. He didn't judge, there was nothing. I just told him, and he just told me, "Look, it's all going to be all right. It's going to be hard work, but we're going to work through it. We're going to do this." And so Steve, and then I went down to see Steve but a few times, and just knowing that Steve is there, this person who just, because within inside me, I knew exactly what it was. So I get quite full on when I'm talking about this story. If I tell the whole story at the end of it, I'm absolutely shattered. I've told a few people of recent, I've just been like, oh my God, it was like I went through the whole ordeal again. But yeah, you can imagine that's quite a stressful thing. Anyway, so it was wonderful. On Saturday night, I was playing a gig in the New Forest and Steve came along, and then I went and stayed with Steve for a couple of days. And every time I go there and just being in his presence, you just immediately feel like everything's all right. And what it was good for me was because a lot of the time of recent, I've been trying to help lots of people out and, and giving advice in a way of, I hope that it's helpful to people, and chatting with people, and people call me and ask feedback. And then I feel that sometimes that you forget about yourself, that actually you're in recovery too, and that you need help. And so it was just wonderful to go down there, and it was again this whole thing of checking in with yourself and just making sure that make sure you look after yourself, and so yeah, I've had a wonderful time. It was really nice to come back after a holiday, do a load of gigs, and then go straight down and see Steve. So yeah, I know that in the last post that I'd just put in that I'd been down and that I'd mentioned gambling, and someone mentioned me and said, "Oh, I didn't know you had a gambling problem," and so I just wanted to clarify all of that. So yeah, just another little string to the addictions bow. But yeah, yeah, so that's something else that I have to deal with as well, is, you know, time sat around waiting for, it's quite funny because I spend a lot of time waiting for people in pubs, you know, where there's drink, and backstage where there's drugs, there's everyone smoking. And then, of course, you know, to pass the time, I used to just sit and gamble on my phone or go down William Hill. You know, Monday nights used to be I'd go down William Hill. So I just wanted to clarify what I was, sorry, I've got a walking application going on, and she's telling me, please be quiet. Just telling me that I've just walked a kilometre and my split time. So thank you very much for that. But yeah, anyway, so I just wanted, people messaging me saying, oh, I didn't know that you were gambling and stuff like that. So I just wanted to tell you about that. One day I'll do a post with the full story, because it's absolutely, like, luckily I can look back on it now and go, check this story out. It's right. And I think what I'm saying, you know, the whole process of winning that money, spending all that money, the whole thing, you know, there was a point where in my brain, there was no way out about it. There's no way out of this. The only thing I can do is run away or kill myself, or that's the only option. That is the only fucking option. There's nothing else. There's no way out of this. You can't, like, and you know, so I feel that when people say to me, there's no way out of this, I can safely say there is, especially with people who have got money worries or in debt or whatever. You know, there is a you can get out the other side of it. But anyway, right, I'm going to stop there because oh yeah, it's quite full on when I think about the whole lot of that. But yeah, there's loads more to that story. It is a beauty as well. See, the story, for me, a lot of the times, the story's better than actually having the money. Do you know what I mean? It's not about the money. It wasn't about the money. It was feeding the addiction. But it didn't matter. No amount of money would have been enough. I would have carried on gambling it all away, you know. So anyway, folks, I do hope you're all well. And I will catch up with you. I've got a couple of days off now. So I'm going through a lot of practice. I'm back into my I'm having tonight off, and then I'm going back into my practice clarinet for a new album that I'm recording and stuff like that. So thanks, folks, and thank you to everyone who's followed the YouTube channel as well. It's slowly creeping up, a few more people, so thank you. All right, take care, bye bye.